my life hasn't been swishy swashy amazing this whole time.
Yeah.
I've been in dark places. But I even think of the dark places as amazing because they taught me to be where I am, you know, and they were really hard and to overcome that. And also how much more interesting my story is because I've been through shit and I'm back and I made it. And so many people as well that are going through tough times and like can't pay their bills or they're in an abusive relationship and you know that you are not meant to be there. It's like going to help you slowly to get yourself out of that. And then you can be like, I did that. I got out of those moments. I did it, you know?
Yeah.
You have to work through all these. I mean, it's part of life. We're all going to go through crap.
Yeah.
When none of us are exempt from going through tough times. None of us. So it's like, do you just embrace this freaking huge lesson you have and overcome it, or do you just sit there and be like, I can't do it? Sure, you can have that for a second, be like, I can't do it, but then pick yourself up and go for it.
Purpose in the youth. Purpose in the youth podcast. Welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only Bobbbaaaay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only Bobbbaaaay. Today in the house, Sorelle Amore. How's it going?
Very well. Thank you for having me.
It is an absolute pleasure. All the way from Australia and LA.
Yeah, damn straight.
Do you like the balance of, like, is there a big difference? Do you think you'd rather be in LA?
LA.
Yeah?
Yeah,
What's stopping you from moving out here?
It's nothing. End of June.
End of June? You're going to make it happen?
Yeah, it's happening.
Oh, man. Just like that. I need to be out here.
Yeah, well, there was an opportunity that came up, and I was like, damn straight, this is where I need to be. So
wow. There's the podcast. She's now moving to LA, and see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
That's amazing. I've never been to Australia, but I can't wait for the day to go over there. I've heard.
Yeah.
I feel like Australia is the closest thing to a utopia. Like, I feel like everybody there, I mean, I haven't been there before, but I feel like everyone's happy, sunshine, you're out, nobody really is mad about Australia. Am I completely off?
No, you're like on point. They love to work as well, but it's always like mostly a 9-to-5-ish jobs. Creativity wise, doesn't really go very far. So if you want a life where you go to the beach a lot and you go and explore time after work and you have drinks and just chill with friends and family, it's a perfect place because beaches are amazing, food is amazing, but it's not really any, like, I feel like the ambition and the drive for something bigger and greater isn't in Australia itself. Like, you have to get out for that.
So then
Australia just has its time and place. I'll go back there one day to relax and unwind, but to create, I feel like LA, now seeing the difference and how I feel and being able to talk to people creatively in this city is just insane.
There's so much energy. I swear, it just fuels you to want to keep creating yourself. Then you can collaborate with other people.
And just friends.
Yeah.
Friends that get you. That's the biggest thing, man, because this can be a very lonely journey, you know?
Yeah.
So having people to rely on and turn to is really amazing.
Through your website, on your Instagram bio, I see beautifully building better beings and everything in part of your branding. What does that mean to you?
Well, I love to build myself up personally to be as good as I can as a human. And I realize that lots of people like that as well. And I just present it to them in a very nicely digestible format so we can all become better, because I think a world filled with beautiful people is just a better world in general.
Where did that originally come from? Where was this idea?
Well, I love beauty.
Yeah.
I love everything beauty related. So not makeup and fashion. That's not what I'm talking about. Although I appreciate that side of things, but I mean as in beautiful humans. Like, you don't, not superficially beautiful, but just like beautiful inside out. And that is beautiful anything. Beautiful locations, beautiful backgrounds. I appreciate them so much.
Yeah.
Beautiful personalities, and being able to beautifully build someone up is better.
Do you find that meditating has taught you anything? Because I think you do meditate a little bit. Do you find that has helped you kind of see the beauty in the simplest things?
So many things in my life have taught me to do that, from doing meditation retreats, like multiple 10-day silent meditation retreats when I was like 21, I think, to plant experiences, plant teachers, to just talking to people, deep conversations, the things that I've been through. I think it teaches you a lot.
And what is the lifestyle like of growing up in Sydney, Australia? That to me is so far away from here. I grew up, as I was telling you before, in Massachusetts. I have no idea what it would be like to grow up there. But for you, how was that?
Well, I was first 5 years I lived in one of the most famous beaches in the world, which is Bondi Beach, Australia. And it was just like at the time, it was a tiny little hippie community of people just going to the beaches, and I was just naked running around on the beach. And that was my life. And we were basically,
get her.
Yeah, exactly. We were basically veggie because my mum was really broke. So we were just eating whatever we could get, and vegetables was the thing that she could get access to.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing lifestyle, like just eating fresh fruits and vegetables and going to the beach and having the love and support of our mum and, you know, people that we loved.
Yeah.
That was really dope. So I loved it. But then we moved away to Poland for 6 years.
Wow.
So living in Poland was the polar opposite. It wasn't nice.
Was your mother Polish?
The whole family's Polish.
The whole family is
and
Polish.
a little bit Russian, but first generation Australian.
Wow. And this is a family full of entrepreneurs, I believe, too.
Yes.
The mother, your mother, she, I think at one point had one of the largest spray tanning websites.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So
how do you know that?
Listen, I told you, you're with the bearded man right now. We got some real direct questions.
Dug deep.
Yeah. So being that she, you know, something like that scale, having a massive website, what like lessons is she teaching you as a kid, like growing up?
Yeah. So my mom, my dad, everyone. No, it's really my mom and my dad that kind of instilled in us that a normal job, 9 to 5, isn't really the right way to go. They always traveled, a massive amount. So travel was always in the picture for us. It's just second nature. It was always a thing we were going to do, traveling. And then the choices that we had when we were in the car was, did you want to listen to Robert Kiyosaki or Tony Robbins? And that's a bit intense when you're like, I want to listen to Tony today. And you're like 5 years old, right?
Tony Robbins,
I know,
get him on.
Exactly. So it was always about just thinking differently and thinking outside of the box. And my dad's a speaker, and he has his own business. My mum also businesswoman. So, and it's always remote work. So nothing that gets you stuck to a desk and leaves you in a certain location, which I completely appreciate. And I'm very grateful. I'm so grateful that they taught by example more so than just telling us what to do. Because if they told us, it would not have happened. By watching them succeed, fail, it just became normal.
Yeah.
So, and my mum was the first one that got me into creating a website, because she was like, I've got this website, you should do it. I was like, fine. So I've researched a topic. I was like, this sounds okay. Built it up, and I learned so many skills of online business creation through that, and then other skills, photography, whatever else.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest realizations I've had from doing this podcast project is how much we become who we are from our childhood, or like the lessons, or what our parents do. Just the littlest detail can make all the difference into creating who you are today.
Dude, one huge thing that I just wish so many mums and probably dads as well did is my mum never referred to herself, like her body, in a negative way. Her body was a temple always, just the way that it was. I loved it, like always grateful, just feeding it well. And then she's 60 now, and I see so many daughters that are like, my mom is like, oh, I'm aging, I'm getting old, I'm scared. My mom hates it. She hates her body. She hates getting older, and my mom loves it. So now I'm not afraid at all. And that made all the difference. I don't care what my body looks like. It's like, what does my brain have? Yeah. That's what matters. It's like, I'm getting old. Fuck yes.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Like,
Whatever age,
I'm one
pumped.
of the lucky ones that I get to age, and I'm doing what I love. Like, yes.
I almost think you need to celebrate every birthday. I met somebody the other day, and they had just recently celebrated a birthday. I said, "Oh, how was it?" And they just weren't excited about it. And I said, You have to celebrate. It's a small win. You made it around the globe another year.
I know.
There's people that die at whatever age, young, and you kind of have to be.
Yeah.
You have to look at it as rewarding. But I also understand that some people are like, becoming 50 and becoming 60. It's such a bad thing. But
it's not.
It's what you make of it. You know what I mean?
No, I was going to stop you just because like lots of people don't have certain experiences that make them realize that they're going to die one day, and lots of people think that this is going to go forever until they are on their deathbed and they realize, fuck. Yeah. I fucked up.
Have you ever had one of those moments?
Yeah.
When was it?
Well, one recently, I almost got hit by a car. This was like a few days ago. It's not a major thing.
In LA, of course.
In LA.
Awesome.
But it wasn't a big thing. This happens to everyone. But it was just like, if I had pushed the like scooter remote just a split second.
Were you riding
early,
a bird?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Or if they were just a little bit before me, that means that would have been done. Yeah. Gone. Sorelle was a history. I was just riding back from getting breakfast. That would have been over. Yeah. And I was like, that fast. And then last year I had a pretty intense experience as well. And it was scary as hell, and it made me realize that I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And it really made me realize that. Not just like, oh yeah, but it was like, no, you'll be dead. You'll be dead. And it puts everything into perspective. So now if I'm growing up, I'm like, thank you. I get to do this human thing a little bit longer because I'm not ready to go yet.
Yeah.
I have so many things that I want to experience, just like the food that I eat, what kind of people I can meet. It's not even, let me become the biggest and greatest. It's like, how many times can I go to the beach and just enjoy the water on my skin, and just how many conversations can I have that are amazing, that are hopefully helpful to people around me. Just like the small things is literally what the human experience is all about. Because once we die, whatever you believe in, we go into this floaty little space, and you can't taste, you can't shit, you can't have sex, all these things that are beautiful human things.
Yeah. And I would imagine too, now being at where you are in your career, it's probably amazing because you've seen a lot of things come to life. You've put in the 10,000 plus hours, and you can probably think back to those moments when you had less than $1,000 in your bank account, going, how the hell am I going to make all this work? And now you're finally at that point where you can share the knowledge, you can spread your story, and it hopefully will inspire other people.
Feels amazing.
Did you feel that you had to cross off the box to go to university? Was that you had to do it?
My grandma really wanted someone in our family to succeed, to do the normal thing and go to university. So I was like, fine.
What university was this? Because I could not find a damn thing
because
about
I
it.
don't like the university, because it was a private college that did a first time, they did a graduate degree. Bachelor, and I was like, I'm never gonna promote.
How about
these people.
where? Is it not
Sydney?
Sydney. Okay.
It was a 2 years fast-tracked course, which was expensive as hell. I didn't realize how expensive it was. But yeah, I just did it, and then my grandma almost didn't come to my graduation, and I screamed at her.
I did this for you, Grandma.
Basically, I was like, what? She's like, you didn't invite me officially, and I was like, I don't care. I did this for you 2 years, and I hung up on her, and then she ended up coming, which was great. God. Yeah, but that was it. That was pretty funny. So yeah, I did it for her because marketing, I did business major in marketing, and you learn this stuff on the field. Like I learned nothing in that degree, to be completely honest. I learned everything in 3 months when I got my first marketing job.
Yeah, you got to go out there and actually like get your feet wet and learn versus like what they're going to teach you in a textbook.
It was a waste of time.
Yeah. I know. I can't. See, that's the thing is I can't sit here and preach that like don't go to college, go out there and just learn.
No, I'm not saying that
because I did it.
I did it as well. I think you can do either way, but you have to, if you're that person that has the drive to find out the information for yourself, then university doesn't have to be for you. Because I learned everything about photo, video, all of this stuff, YouTube, all by myself because this was my thing. But if someone was like, okay, you have to become a doctor, and like that's your thing, I was like, shit, I don't want to learn that in my spare time.
Yeah.
So I would go. And I'd have to be forced to sit in a room and learn that stuff because that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So if you are innately someone that really wants to learn a topic, do it by yourself. If not, then go to uni.
I know. Go to YouTube. Go to Google. You can learn almost anything. If you want to be a doctor, please go to school though, because I don't want you opening up me. I don't want you touching this beard unless you are professionally licensed. But I think a lot of other things you can just go online and just figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
When you graduate though, so you end up working for this company called Global1 Events for 3-ish years. Welcome to the Beard Man podcast. This is the real deal.
Wow.
What do you think? So you start out as a marketing manager, then an innovation and product development manager. So you spend about 3-ish years with this company. What did you learn about yourself within that time frame?
About myself, that I worked hard. They kept on telling me that. My bosses were just like, we love what you do. You're so dedicated. You always just push harder and you do so much. You're capable of so much. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought this was normal. So that was really nice. And just like absorbing the skills and just seeing that I can balance something that was like a multi-million-dollar business and it was all on my shoulders. And I was like 22. And that was pretty cool. Not everything, but the marketing side with a couple of team members, we were smashing it. It was awesome. It was amazing.
Did you like the idea of like a corporate environment, like a Monday through Friday type job? Or
yeah, I wanted to trial it. I've never done it, and I always wanted to work for this company, and so I wanted to work with this one specific speaker that inspired me when I watched The Secret when I was like, I don't know, 5. I'm not. It's not that old. And so Dr. DeMartini, he was like my favorite person in there, and I remember calling his office in South Africa and being like, hey, I'd love to work with DiMartini. I just graduated. Can I work with him? And they were like, no, sorry, we have nothing. But there's a company called Global1 in Australia that you could work with them. And I was like, okay, call them up. Got a job. Next thing, I was like marketing coordinator like 4 days later, because I just went in and I was just like, I'm your girl. I'm not leaving until I have this job. So that was really cool. I forgot where I was going with that. What was the question?
Just like, what do you think changed about you within that 3 years?
Yeah. I don't know. There was something else that I was going to link that back to. But yeah.
It was a good experience.
At corporate environment. I liked it because I wanted to work with this person. And if I didn't have the experience of working with this events company, then I wouldn't be where I am right now. As is everything. Everything leads to you to where you are in this very second right now. Yeah. And I grew up in a personal development household, and this was personal development. So to be able to work in that field was really important to me as well.
And so before you had talked about how your mom inspired you to start your own website, and I think that was the Pinna Passion, correct? And this is a platform to help guide women to empowerment and self-love, accompanied with educating women about the vintage lifestyle. And I had read that you had said something about the perks of running your own business means you get to do everything that is needed within the company. You get to be very multi-talented and a great multitasker. So you pretty much are wearing like 20 different hats.
Oh, yeah.
Every aspect of like running and online. Yeah, as you are today. So
my life is just that.
Yeah. This is no, at the time, this is your first time doing a bunch of things like that. How did you balance all these different things that need to get done and understanding I need to spend time and energy on this, and then this has to wait because your mind is just thinking of like, shit, I got to do all this, but I only have 24 hours in a day.
So I had a full-time job, and then I was working on top of that. Yeah. So that was the first 2 years I did that. So I was working about 16 to 18-hour days for about 5 years, I'd say. Wow. Yeah, I didn't really have a life outside of that. But I'm really grateful for that time as well because, again, I'm here where I am right now. And I think your 20s is a great time to experiment and do sprints in different sectors. And that was one of my sprints that I did in my 20s.
You're preaching right now. I'm 25, so
exactly.
keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. Now that I look back, I'm very grateful that I took the time to just go full on into so many different things. Like photography, I just went crazy full on. Videography, full on. Then like YouTube, full on. My business, marketing manager, full on. So I took these sprints and I learned as much as I could. I was just a sponge. And when you're starting a website, I had no idea. Like I had a bit of this program that I built the website on. It gave me guidance, which was good. And my mom was there to support me and give me information and add to it. But one of the biggest things I learned from that website was from the start when I was building it, this platform just said, this is not a website, this is a business. So it helped me to rethink it that way. So every little bits and pieces that I was learning throughout this process, I had to, stumble a lot and just like submerge myself. I'm like, is this helpful? Like figure it out. Okay, I was wasting my time. Oh, well, at least now I know. And then I'd succeed in one thing and I'd like do some other stuff and then succeed in a couple of other things. It's definitely, you're just working it out. Yeah. And knowing now that you have to go through crap to get to where you are, like there's no such thing as mistakes. Yeah. So what that a business might flop. Yeah. So what? You just do it again. It doesn't matter. There is no such thing as a failure unless you choose to be like, too hard, I give up, peace. But if you just like, oh, well, that was a testing period and I screwed up, next. Yeah. That's it.
That's why I think it's so important to like paint the picture of these people's lives of like people like you, they see where you're at today. They see all the numbers, they see all the followers, they see all the big things that are happening, but most people might not really understand like what led to that. Like you're saying in your 20s of head down, 16 to 18 hour days. I mean, now that's so in hindsight from what had happened. Like it's
that
so
still work ridiculous.
But you're still ridiculous. But at the time, those are the moments when that really built you. I feel like that got you to this point of like when the opportunity comes, now you're ready to hit that baby out of the park.
Exactly. It's not about like what's ready and can I just jump on that. It's like the tiny things that led up to that moment to be able to do what you do now. Yeah. Because if I didn't have experience with photography, videography, online marketing, there's no way this YouTube thing would have succeeded. No chance. Yeah. It would have succeeded. It's fun. Like whatever. I think people do actually realize it takes a lot of work, but then there are those that don't want to do it. And that's fine as well. Yeah. If you don't want to do it, it's fine. Don't beat yourself up if like your family or your friends are all like smashing it and they're like, I want to do this. And you're like, I'm kind of cool. I just want to go surfing. go surfing.
Yeah.
If you want to monetize surfing somehow, figure it out, sure. But that, like, stick to your own lane. If your friends are, but if you don't want to do it, it also doesn't make you a worse person. It's just not for you. This lifestyle is not for everyone.
Yeah. You really got to figure out what your goals are and what you want.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy, I think, sometimes. I don't know. People either compare themselves or they just don't know what they truly want, and so they're chasing all these other things that are not really helping them figure out the true inner of them.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think that's also okay, because I don't really know who I am, but it did like kind of pierce me just then. You're like, they try all these different things without going in for what they want. So when I was young, I always wanted to be a singer and an actress, and I'm like bypassing it. I'm like, this is fine, this is fine. But when I get back at the end of June, I want to just like give it a crack to see if I like it, or if this has been a fantasy that I've been living the whole time. Or if it works and I'm the happiest that I've ever been. I don't know. So it's just about trialing it.
You know what? And that's it. That's the beauty. You have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
You have nothing to lose. If it doesn't work, fine.
So what?
Go back to YouTube. Go write more blogs.
Yeah.
Like, keep trying different things. Start up this next business. The Advanced Selfie University.
Yeah.
It's like you already have your hands in so many things that you're not emotionally attached. That if acting doesn't work,
if I don't like it, then I don't like it. It's fine.
Like it.
But it's the same thing for anyone. Even if when I was starting out and YouTube wouldn't have worked, well, at least I tried and would have given me the skill set to do the next thing that I wanted to do. Like I don't know. I don't think there's anything ever really to lose with just doing. Like if you don't do, that's something you're losing out on. If you don't test or try, or that's when you're really missing out on the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're at every stage of every adventure or anything that you touch, you're learning. Yeah. And that's going to help the future you.
Yeah. I want to talk about the there was at one point you quit the job, you go on this 10-day silent meditation retreat, which inspires you to pick up a camera for the first time in 15 years. Did this opportunity, so the job then you started working for was, I think it was Sherbert Birdie Photography or something like that.
Best.
So was this maybe one of the first times in your life you felt like you were making a living doing something you love versus not even?
Mm-mm. So when I was 18, I was traveled to Canada, and I was working outdoors with youth, outdoor education camp. That was amazing. And then I was a lifeguard sitting on the beach. That was amazing. Then I was working in an office with my dream speaker. That was amazing. Then I was working on my online website. That was amazing. Like everything is just freaking dope.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I like
Yeah.
just knowing that it's fun. It's fun.
Do you think you've always had this positive aspect though, or is this something you're learning to look back and reflect?
No, I feel like I have had this. It's not that I'm looking at life through rose-colored glasses. Maybe it is, but it's not. It's not false. Like I know how amazing life. And yes, I've gone through crap. My life hasn't been swishy swashy amazing this whole time.
Yeah.
I've been in dark places. But I even think of the dark places as amazing because they taught me to be where I am, you know, and they were really hard and to overcome that. And also how much more interesting my story is because I've been through shit and I'm back and I made it. And so many people as well that are going through tough times and like can't pay their bills or they're in an abusive relationship and you know that you are not meant to be there. It's like going to help you slowly to get yourself out of that. And then you can be like, I did that. I got out of those moments. I did it, you know?
Yeah.
You have to work through all these. I mean, it's part of life. We're all going to go through crap.
Yeah.
When none of us are exempt from going through tough times. None of us. So it's like, do you just embrace this freaking huge lesson you have and overcome it, or do you just sit there and be like, I can't do it? Sure, you can have that for a second, be like, I can't do it, but then pick yourself up and go for it.
Speaking of the dark times, paint me what it's like. There's this moment you move out to Europe wanting to be a YouTuber. You're living in Iceland. You fall into this depression. It's just like 4 months, I think, of time where you're just not feeling it. What's going through your mind in that dark moment? Because you eventually then turn the chapter and you start eating good, you start exercising, you start writing your goals down. But what's going through your head in those very moments?
In the dark moments, it was really tough because I just wanted to hide away from everyone and I didn't want anyone to know that I even existed. So it was like the fact that I had a boyfriend, that was like the most annoying part. I was like, ugh, just let me be and wallow. I have to pretend that I'm okay for you sometimes to not make you feel horrible, but then it's really hard and I'd cry all the time and I was like, I don't want you to see me like this. So that was also like a blessing in disguise because I had to pick myself up because he was there. God damn it, got in my way of wallowing. No, but it was horrible. Like, you don't give a shit what you're eating. You don't care at all. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to see any of your friends. You want to distance yourself from all the people that know you. And it gets dark, man. And I had this pretty recently as well. It's weird. I thought I would be exempt from this kind of a headspace because I like to look at life as an adventure. But I also now embrace the dark times, being like, I'm just recharging. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Little chapter. We're going to get
through it.
Exactly.
It's just like everyone goes through ups and downs, and this was just another down. And you just want to hide. But then something flicked, and I was like, really? How long am I going to do this for? Do I really want to stay in this for that long? And I knew the small steps that I could take to help me feel better, like the exercise, which is so powerful. Oh my gosh. Every time I exercise, even if I'm crying and punching the bed and being like, everything sucks, and I'll just like go for an intense workout session, everything is different. And I like, nothing fixes it more than that. I can't believe the power of exercise. And I didn't realize it was so important. Because you don't think it's really going to do that much, but sitting in one spot and just wallowing is not going to break you out of that. Like,
when I think that's the tough part is your people get into that dark place. You don't want to do anything. So you think, what do you mean I have to go up and be active?
Exactly.
How is that going to make me feel better?
You just have, but for me, it was like you force yourself and then you're like, oh, I can breathe. I can breathe for a second. It's dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found exercise truly helps, and you don't want to do it, but like there is a point where you just realize you can't sit in dark emotions like that for 10 years.
Yeah.
At some point you gotta like switch your eating habits and exercise, because there's no chance that you can be in that kind of a state forever.
Yeah.
Like,
something has to give.
Yes, for me it was like, it's either my life or no, living or not living. Like, which one are you going to choose? I was like, well, fuck, I've got too much to live for.
Yeah. I love that you write down you want to travel to 12 countries within 12 months.
No, want to. So when you set goals, how do you set goals?
I'm going to.
No.
What do you mean?
You set them as if they already happened. So it is May, what did I write? I said December. It's December 2017, and I have traveled to 12 destinations, most of them paid for, or most of them cost covered, or I got paid for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So you never said it like I will, because one day you will always will. But if you set your goals as in it's already happened, it's already happening. The universe is just putting it into place.
Wow. That's a completely
I saw your
different...
goal on your wall, and I was like,
you saw that?
I was like, no, honey.
Oh, man. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. So you write that down. That is already happening. And you get a text or maybe an email from your brother about this best job on the planet via Third Home.
Yeah.
17,000 people apply for this contest and you win.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Yeah, like I love the videos. I loved everything about like I can't believe I just won, and I'm sure you've talked about this so many times. It's like
it's still one of the greatest moments of my life.
Yeah. That moment you found out. Talk to me about it.
Well, pre-frame, $1,000 left in my bank account, depressed. I was like, well, it's either stay and try to do this YouTube thing, which I was loving, or go back to Australia and just start in a normal job. I was like, which one do I want? Well, so it was literally, I had no plan B. I didn't want to go back, but that was my only option. And then my brother sends me this text through and saying, hey, there's this best job on the planet. We should apply for it. And I was like, I'm doing it right now. You better do it too. He never ended up doing it, which is such a bummer, which is good probably because I won. Yeah. I would have won anyway, because the minute it came through, I knew that was mine. I think it was no doubt, not even this. And it's a difference, not like wishing. I just knew it was meant for me because I wrote that down. That was my freaking goal, but the universe requests action. So I was like, okay. So I went full steam. So I created a 1-minute video saying like all my skill set and how I'm going to like help them and why I'm perfect for this job. And then I set it up on the easiest way for them to find my link and digest it. The short email, succinct, everything that I needed to, with a perfect link to a perfect layout website with all my information. No one did that. Some people didn't even submit a video. There was actually 50,000 people that applied, but 17,000 only submitted with a video.
Wow.
So 34,000.
So they just narrowed it down immediately to just 17,000.
If you don't take the time to make a 1-minute video. You don't deserve this.
Yes.
So do what is required, but make it even better.
Yes.
Make it so easy for the people that are looking through these emails or whatever opportunity to choose you. Like, you are the only option.
Yeah.
And you make that very clear that you are the only option. Be super professional. And I was. Round 2 comes along, and then you had to write blog posts and prove that you knew marketing skills. Nailed that. Double checked it with my friends, family, my boyfriend, just to make sure that I was on track and this was the right information. And then the last round was voting for getting people to vote over a month period, I think it started off with. And
how many people in that round at that point?
There was 12 of us.
Oh wow!
And then someone dropped out because you had to quit your job, and I don't think they were willing to say I'm going to quit my job, because that means that the boss could have seen that. So 11 people ended up being in this running, and I just every single day to my followers, and I didn't have mass, but I had enough.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to, like, guys, vote every day, and I created competitions around it. And no one else was doing it, which I was very surprised about. I was like, well, this is easy. And then they were like, yeah.
So were you almost not surprised that you won? Like, were you?
Oh, I knew I was going to win, but it was relief more than anything when they called me. They're like, you've got it. I was like, oh, like, I just bawled, because I was like, that's taking away the pressure of like $1,000 left in my bank account, being poor, not being able to travel, all this stuff. I was like, I can breathe.
Yeah.
And we all have that. We go through stages where it's like, I just want a small second so I can breathe. Please give me a little second to just take a breath. And that felt like that. And it was really nice.
Yeah.
So and then it went back to like, yeah.
So you end up,
crazy.
so just a little bit on that, you end up, these coasters stick, I'm sorry. You get paid $10,000 a month. You're traveling for 3 months each, pretty much, I think 12 luxury locations.
Yep.
You go to Costa Rica, Bahamas, China, Scotland, England, Dominican Republic, Australia, Fiji, Spain, and Indonesia, Croatia, and Morocco. What changes about you within that 3 months? You go from person with less than $1,000 in your bank account to now
30,000.
30,000. Your expenses were paid. You got to travel around the world.
Yeah.
You make content. That's literally your job every single day.
Yeah.
Put out blogs, pictures. You just went from like, I don't know what I'm doing, to now I just did my dream job. What's changing about Sorelle in that moment?
So much. Well, one, it was luxury houses, and I never saw myself as someone that understood luxury. So, excuse me.
Yep.
Thank you.
I love it.
I appreciated luxury, which was it's really nice to take that in, because it also helped me to appreciate beauty more so, and just aesthetics, I guess. It doesn't have to be a huge giant house, but I just like to make sure that everything is really beautiful, and I acknowledge that I like luxury, and there's nothing wrong with that. I can do both luxury and not luxury, but there was an appreciation, and it switched something within me, that from feeling like I didn't belong in certain situations, like if it was too fancy, I was like, I shouldn't be here, to now being like, I'm meant to be here. Thank you very much. So that shift in my mind was great, because it now allows me to talk with anyone, anywhere, and just be a human and not feel that intimidation, which can come with people talking about luxury or huge houses. Because, again, we kind of grew up pretty poor. So so having that, I was
went
like,
from one spectrum literally to the other as well with that.
Exactly. So, and then the other thing was how much content I could produce, and how talented I was with producing that much content in such a short period of time, and the stress of it. And like, I was traveling 3 months, 2 days a week, basically. I was flying and jet lagged, and then I'd land and have to explore straight away, and then take, I think, like every location I'd have 4 or 5 videos that I did.
Wow, so you're crushing.
Plus about 200 photos plus 2 blog posts a week. So it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of work, but it taught me how to create and have a great time and enjoy it and just be grateful. But also, I've worked really hard for that.
And it probably was amazing too, just taking out the finances part of just, I can create. I don't have to worry about how my bills are getting paid. I don't have to worry about the food being on the table, rent. I don't have to worry about these plane tickets.
It was
Everything
all done.
is paid for. I just literally need to deliver on what I already love to do. Is there anything, looking back on it, that you wish you had done differently?
I wish my friends came and joined me a little bit.
They could have, right?
They could have, right? But only 3 locations I had someone join me. My bro joined me in 2, and then my best friend in Bahamas joined me with her little baby and her husband. That was weird. I was like, why did no one join me?
Yeah.
But also, I was in such work mode that if they did join me, like
You would have been so distracted.
I would have
right?
been distracted because Bahamas with my bestie, I was very distracted.
Yeah.
So I produced, that was my video that I was like, oh, I'm sorry that I produced such a crap video.
Yeah.
Because, so I'm glad in hindsight as well that, but otherwise, no, I'm freaking proud of that effort because 3 months of that solid of an effort was pretty damn good. Although I did that basically last year as well. So
Yeah.
it preempted me for what I was
I was going to say, did you find that because of that, everything just launched from there?
No.
I don't want to say launch, but did you find like that was a big push in Sorelle as a brand or no?
So I was sitting at like 120K. So I grew for the first 3 months on my YouTube to 80K because I met a German YouTuber that we just hit it off. We were really great friends. Melina Sophie, she was a legend. We don't talk very much, unfortunately, anymore. But she helped me to get to 80K. But then when we weren't collaborating anymore, then all her followers like, where's Melina? We're leaving. And I was like dropping in numbers.
Wow.
Trying to grow my numbers. I was like, this is painful. So when I finished the best job, I had 120,000 on YouTube. So it grew a little bit, but then it just stabilized. And it stabilized for 6 months. And it wasn't really doing anything. And I wasn't really creating because I I needed a break.
Yeah, of course.
It was really intense.
3 months full throttle.
Yeah. So, and then April came around and I was like, screw this. Let's just do it. So I just committed to 2 videos a week, which wasn't as much as what I was doing. But I was like, oh, no, it kind of was. A little bit, tiny bit less, but more effort put into my videos, I guess. And I had more thought process behind them. And so that just set me up. And because of last year, because of doing the 2 videos a week on great topics that assisted with, I guess, my different personality and my take on things, it just went, boom.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Do you ever get stressed out having to like think about the next thing to create, or you constantly have so many ideas that you just have a notepad?
I get very stressed out.
Yeah.
About it. So I'm on a 30-day social media detox right now.
Just boom, content.
Yeah. So on the 1st of April, I was like, I'm done. Peace out. Because it was kind of too much. My brain was plugged in so much that I forgot what I wanted to do and what I wanted to create and the reasons why I started YouTube, which was to just have fun.
Yeah.
I had so much. I interviewed horses for my first videos. Who does that? It's the best. It's so fun.
I love it.
And so I wanted to get back to that childish spirit that I had. And I knew being plugged in all the time and seeing what other people are creating and the standard of what they're doing. And like, if I want to create a video, but will it do really well? Let me just check if other people have done it. Oh, they've done it that way. Should I be doing it that way as well? Oh, they did it better, so maybe I shouldn't even do it. It's like, damn, girl.
Spending so much time and energy studying the market when you just need to create.
Who cares? I know. Create. And I feel so much better already. I feel so much better. So yeah, stressed out, but I think social media makes me stress out. And like, you have so many people, you just don't want to disappoint them, I guess, in a way. But at the same time, I don't want to disappoint myself. So I just want to have fun.
You have to focus on yourself before you can even worry about what other people want from you.
Put on your mask first.
Is
Oxygen
that what
mask.
they say? Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
When you're in airplanes. Because if
again,
you're dead, then what's the point?
Again, you're flying with the bearded man. Put on the oxygen mask as it drops in.
Exactly.
I think that's one thing I've gotten very good at in the last 6 months of just, I look at social media as consumption. You consume bad food or just bad things that's going to affect you. I'm huge on producing. I try to put out as much as I can.
Yes.
But then immediately after I like post a video, post an Instagram story, post an Instagram, boom, I'm out. And I just put it away. It's taking time and I'm not an expert at it, but I highly recommend for people. I mean, people like yourself, it's like, you also can't be hard on yourself because that's how you live. Producing,
I know, but you can use it as a distraction and be like, that's my job. Like, sure, it's your job, but what is really your job is producing good content.
Yeah.
And if you're distracted by what other people are doing or how your views are doing, that's not producing good content.
Yeah. I guess, that's a good way to look at it. Being a digital nomad, what have you found to be the biggest hurdle or struggle with just living out of a backpack, out of a suitcase for long periods of time?
2 years. It was friends.
Yeah.
Lack of friends, for sure. Damn. That sucked. The end.
Yeah. But even then, you're not like, you don't feel that you were making genuine relationships along the way?
Not really, because I mean, I was so concentrating on my work, so I was working a lot, even wherever we were going. And then I find people don't. There's a small amount of people that I can make a deep connection with, and they have to happen kind of naturally. There's a girl in Sydney that I just met, Delena. She does Krav Maga with me, and she's so cool, and we just hit it off instantly. And you can't fake those, you can't force it. Like, we don't even have to talk so much, but I know that there's like a deep connection. And whenever you're traveling, sure, you might meet a couple of those people once in a very long time, but then you've got to also start from scratch sometimes and be like, so what do you do? Where do you? Whereas with deep connections like I have in LA right now, you just like straight into it. You don't see each other for months, and you then next thing you're talking about, I don't know, saving the world somehow, or Jesus Christ, or like the spirituality or something crazy. And that's what I really truly appreciate. Yeah. So a community is just so important.
And now that you have like your own, where's the apartment? I saw that one of your recent videos. That is in Venice. Yeah. That video. Yeah. You talk about minimalism now a lot. Mm-hmm. How?
Oh no, the apartment that I have. Yeah. I've got one in Sydney, but
sorry,
we're getting rid of that.
We got keys all over the globe right now. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Always was the dream.
I love it. I respect it. Yeah. And I love that you just came from Matt Diavella's podcast. Shout out to Matt, because he's big on minimalism, and I've grown to appreciate that a lot more through him and his documentary. But for you, how has minimalism helped you and helped your productivity with getting things done? Having less things around, everything has a purpose in your apartment, and I'm sure everything that you own has a true purpose now.
100%. Everything that I have has a purpose, and everything I have, I love. If I don't, I get rid of it. That's it. I don't want to have anything in my space that is like crowding it, that I don't need or makes me feel good.
How many cups do you have?
In Australia, we have jars. The jars. We have like, I think 12.
How many spoons?
We have 5.
Wow. See, you actually know.
Yeah. No, it's I didn't realize this was a thing, and I was just chatting to Matt. When I started, I started living out of my bag about 2.5 years ago, and I obviously have to be a minimalist because you carry whatever you have with you. But I also remember when I was young, I always wanted to travel the world with a tiny little backpack, and I even bought this backpack and I returned it because I realized it was too small. But I went to Vietnam with just one backpack for a month, and it was just so easy, and I was like, why would you bring anything extra with you? It just didn't make sense to me. Yeah. And when I was young, like, I'd look at all these people buying so much stuff, and I was like, I should probably do that, but like, why doesn't it make me happy? I actually hate shopping, but I was like, well, everyone else does it, so I guess I should do it. Yeah. And it made me unhappy, made me spend money, made me ruin the environment with all the crap that I was buying. It crowded my space. I think the mental space, when you have things that you don't know what you have, that's the worst part. So when you have things that you love and you know exactly what you have, it's so much easier. And I didn't realize it was minimalism until, I don't know, like a year ago or something. And I was like, oh, so I don't have to buy things and feel guilty that I'm not a consumer. I'm pretty okay, thanks. Yeah. And it made me, it just changes everything. Like now my phone, 4 years old, my laptop is 4 years old, and I couldn't care less. Yeah. I have clothes that I'm still wearing. These pants I have on, I think they're 6 years old.
I love it.
I love them. Yeah. They make me happy.
Well, too, the jeans, they get to a certain fit. Once you break them in, it's like, I'm never getting rid of these jeans. Like, we're going to bring these to get them stretched up or whatever. Like, I'm not getting rid of them. Yeah. Yeah, I think just the headspace of just less shit. Yeah. You don't have to think about buying all this stuff that you don't need. I mean, being as a kid, I remember needing the new shoes, needing the new T-shirt. Like,
we couldn't because we didn't have the money for that, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it changes a lot on the headspace aspect of just have everything have a purpose. Yeah. I can tell you everything about this room. There's a reason for every little piece in this room. Good. Because I know that it serves the purpose, whether it's the coaster, the cup, anything. Yeah. You know, I try to make sure that if it is valuable to me and it's serving some type of purpose, have it. Yeah. If it's not, and I haven't worn it or used it in 6 months, probably a good reason to toss it.
Exactly.
If I'm a prospective student thinking about attending the Advanced Selfie University,
segue.
Yeah, segue. I've got to make sure we're good on time. Why should I attend the Advanced Selfie University? You're the dean of it.
Yeah, I love the Advanced Selfies. Advanced Selfies are the best. So the reason I started them, it was kind of like a joke. One, I didn't like that I was traveling to places and no one was taking my photo if I traveled with people because I was taking their photo. I was like, this is crap. Was I even there? I took all your photos, but no one cared to take mine. And then when I started solo traveling when I was 18, I was like, I want photos of myself, but how am I going to get photos? So I figured out how to take photos of myself with the process that I do, and then also doing the best job on the planet, I upped them a little bit because I wanted them to look luxurious. So I just started calling them advanced selfies as a joke, and people loved it and kept on asking me questions about it. The smallest questions, from like how to take, like, what do I do with my hands when I'm posing? So all these things, like how to find your light, how to pose with groups of people, how to feel confident, how to choose the right clothing that will suit your brand, how to find the right clothing that will work for your skin tone, how to, I don't know, sitting poses, standing poses, what gear to use, how to shoot just with your phone, all these things that people kept on asking me. I was like, I don't want to do this on my YouTube channel all the time, so I just put it into a course. And it's everything, and it's a great community. I think the community is also pretty ridiculously amazing, because for people that are so afraid to take a photo of themselves because they've grown up with the belief that they're horrible, they're ugly, they're not photogenic in the slightest.
Yeah.
And when you see social media and you're comparing yourself, like with all the perfect Kardashian retouched photos and lots of plastic surgery, and then you're like, and then there's me. Shit.
Yeah.
Like, you wish that you were beautiful or handsome, and you're like, God damn, like, please. And if you can learn to take a great photo of yourself, it makes you feel better about yourself. Obviously, it makes you, and if you can take care of what you look like and nail that and feel good about yourself for who you are. Sure, you might not look like a freaking runway model, but it's okay, because you figure out your strengths, you figure out what body angles work for you, what like side of your face that you like, and then you just feel better, and that means you can conquer the rest of your world. Because I know a lot of people that just are so paralyzed by the fact that they think they're so ugly, but they never do anything in their lives.
Yeah. And
it's like, dude, let's get rid of that aspect of it so you feel good about yourself. And let's concentrate on something deeper after you've done that.
Yeah.
And the community that I have with the Advanced Selfie University, which also Advanced Selfie University was a joke, but I freaking love it.
I love it.
It became the community there, because you can share your very vulnerable photos. Like, I haven't been in front of the camera for 5 years. This is my first photo. Wow. What do you guys think? And it's like the community there are like, whoa, it's lovely. I love what you've done. This is amazing. Next time, maybe just find a little bit more light, but it's so beautiful. Like, you've done so well. Congratulations.
Wow.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
That's massive. So it's not just like, hey, like, take a photo of me. This is really overcoming something that is paralyzing to people.
Yeah.
So I, like, at times I'm like, is this really my legacy right now? But I'm like, wait, this is actually helping a lot of people. So I have to remember what the Advanced Selfie really is about. Yes, it's art, and you can start experimenting and go big and make artistic pieces, which is what I do now. Because when I started, it was just about, one, I wanted to take photos of myself in locations, but two, I thought I was ugly as hell. And now I'm like, I'm not so bad.
I look good, baby. Yeah, so you better like that photo. Exactly. Drop a comment. You like this photo. Yeah.
So then, but now I'm so comfortable with myself through the process of learning, mastering my craft, and through these advanced selfies, that now I just go crazy and experiment, and have fun with it. But you have to start somewhere. Yeah. I didn't want to put my face in front of it. I had to take far away photos for 2 years before I felt comfortable coming close to the camera.
And we're talking way out. I think
I was far away.
Yeah.
Tiny.
Yeah. But now you're just fully confident with it.
I'm ready.
You're ready to rock when any of that camera pops up.
When someone takes a photo of me, not as comfortable, which is the weird part.
Interesting. So you'd rather set up shop
100%, because
you're in control of it versus that person taking the photo.
I do not like when people take my photo.
Huh.
I mean, I'm not too bad. I get better, but because I love being able to create my vision of it. Maybe that's just a control thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, I mean, now that we're living, now the coasters, I gotta glue these down. Do you think now, especially in the world we're living in today, content being so important, I don't care if you're a YouTube creator, I don't care if you run a real estate business, I don't care if you're in construction, do you think this program would help people in all of these different industries? You have to,
if you want to make it in any of your industries, chances are that your online profile has to be pretty schmicko. And if it's just like a crappy selfie, probably not doing you very good justice. Yeah. Like, DJs need great photos of themselves to sell themselves. Artists, musicians, fashion designers, everyone needs it.
Yeah.
Right? Even dentists freaking need it.
Yeah, you're right.
Because if you want to go to a dentist, you're looking for a new dentist. You want to make sure that their teeth are perfect. So show me. I'm going to go to your Instagram and check out what you do.
Yeah.
And if photos of you or your clients are crap, and through my course you also learn photography basics, then you're like set in stone, man.
Yeah.
So you have to have a solid online presence, unless you're choosing to go completely offline, which is very rare for people these days. Yeah.
I love the dentist part because it's like they should have perfectly good teeth. And I'm also thinking about the person that I see in the gym that's a trainer. I'm just like, how is somebody getting paid to train when you actually don't look like a trainer?
Yeah.
Blows my mind every time. That's just a side note, but like as you were painting the dentist picture, I'm like, yep, that sounds like the trainer that I see in my gym. But I'm not gonna call this person out. I saw one of your most recent YouTube videos where you talk about not being a starving artist. I'm gonna be selfish. As a podcaster by day, as a Uber driver by night, what's the best advice you would offer to me saying this is what you should do next for somebody that's been, creating content for 2.5 years, trying to put out a little bit of blogs, trying to just try everything and see what sticks? What would be the next best step? Because I think what you might have to offer would help recording artists, anybody that's probably listening at this point.
Well, that goes into analyzing your business then. What are you doing? What are you not doing? So let's look where you're using your energy, most of your energy, and where are you getting the most returns as well. And then whatever is where you're getting a return, have you maximized that to the full potential? Have you do you know, okay, you've got a marketing background, but have you created online courses that go to help you monetize ebooks? Have you tried PR? You have to get yourself out there. This is step one, really. If your content is solid, which obviously it is because I'm on the podcast.
Yes.
joke. But if your content is solid, and you have to nail that first. If the content is solid, then it's about getting yourself out there, and that's it. It's any way possible. So it's I can't give you an answer now, but it's we got to analyze how you're doing, and where are you spending too much time that you shouldn't be spending, and put it into something that is working. But monetization, man, wherever you can, because it's not selfish to monetize your work. Maybe some people are afraid and they're waiting for a brand to come and monetize them. Yeah. Which is the
worst thing.
Dude, this is why I created my online course, because I didn't want to be at the mercy of a brand to say, hey, look at me dangling the money in front of you. Do you want it? And I'm like, I don't really like this brand, but yes, I need the money. Yeah. I wanted to make sure that I value myself first. So I created my own courses and I monetized myself first. The PR aspect of it as well. Thinking of weird ideas that are going to capture people's attention. Anything you can to put yourself in front of people's faces.
And just kind of it's almost like a game of what's working, what's not.
Always.
Go back to the drawing board, push this more.
Always. Yeah. But we'd have to see where you're spending the most time. But it's monetization at the hardest. Are you sending out, even to all the people that you interview, do you have little Insta stories templates that you send to them?
I send them a whole press kit of content, pictures, videos. So I make sure that any guest that comes on the show, I send them everything before
so they can share it easily.
Absolutely. I want to make sure they have enough content. I always say, here's 10 pieces of content. If there's anything specific you want, just let me know.
Good.
But I've also tried to learn the balance of, just because somebody comes on the show, I can't expect that they're going to share anything out, which I kind of knew from the jump, but I've been on other podcasts, and then there's this communication where they're like, all right, make sure when you post, it's on this day. I'm just like, I'm gonna, but you shouldn't expect, No. So that's why I've always say, this is the content I'm rolling out for the week. If there's anything you need, let me know. Yeah. And I try to just be very cool with the people. But yeah, I've always made sure that there's tons of content for the guests and try to make them look like a
star. What's your monetization strategy then?
Not really anything crazy right now. Why not? Haven't figured out the right next step.
Have you, is there any traction in?
Recently I did a brand partnership with a company called Mati Energy. So they've been helping, kind of doing a little bit of everything, whether it was Instagram posts for me, an advertisement in the beginning of the podcast. And I genuinely believed in their product. It was just kind of great alignment. They're about the healthy hustle, about fueling the young go-getters. And so it made sense. One thing I always told myself, I'm not going to put my name next to something that I don't believe in. I'm not that dumb. I know the long play wouldn't work out. But that's really been the only true monetization. My YouTube subs isn't through the roof.
How are you getting your podcast to be viewed on more platforms? Are you just hoping? Or are you doing marketing and pushing it on are you searching Quora, Reddit, how to promote yourself further?
No, I haven't looked into Reddit, Quora. Nope.
Time to figure out how to get your podcast to have as many views as possible. Yeah. And how many downloads as possible, and maximize the downloads. And that's step one. How to get your podcast out there. You don't sit and wait for people to find you. You put yourself in front of people. Yeah. So Google every single possible ways, and I know there's a lot of ways because my boyfriend just launched a podcast. Yeah. And he's killing it already. Yeah. And then monetization strategy comes like very close to that. They should go hand in hand. So straight away, what can you do to monetize? What do you have? What strength do you have that other people want from you already? Like, what are you doing differently that other people keep asking you questions? Like, you've done 126 interviews. You know how much content you have from that you could package into a simple course, online course, or an ebook or a book, but start with something easier. Like, courses are amazing. I'll keep
because you make it once and then
it's passive income. So and then you promote that with every single podcast. Like this episode is sponsored by my course.
Wow.
Like, why are you not monetizing your work? This much effort into what you're doing, and you're not like figuring out ways to monetize that?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, I've asked
Most
myself the
people
same.
do this.
Yeah.
Most people just wait. It's like, you are not waiting. This is your dream. This is what you're working for, and you can't produce your maximum if you're doing Uber at nighttime.
Yeah.
So you need to maximize what you have. Yes, Uber for now, but figure out a way instead of waiting for a brand to come to you, because that's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, it's never been about the brand is going to be the next step. It was more of stay consistent with the content, try your best to get it out there to the right people, you know, get in as many guests as you can, produce as much great content. And I hate to say it, but yeah, hope that with time it's going to get traction, or one video is going to be the one, or one piece of content away, or one podcast away, anything away from it changing. But maybe that's just the shift that I need to take away from it.
Yeah, I think too much hoping. Like, how many great artists are there in the world? Like, musicians. Like, how are you not famous?
Yeah.
And it's because they didn't know how to market themselves or push themselves in front of the right people or get the right connections. You've got the connections down pat, but like monetizing it from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because they were just like, I don't know how. I'm just waiting for someone to find me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? Is it your dream or someone else's dream? Go get it.
Yeah.
You got to figure out ways, man.
Yeah.
Monetization straight away.
Yeah. Important. I don't want to spend too much time talking about myself, but that's very...
Yeah, I think it's beneficial for people listening, though. Don't wait. Fucking hell. That's the saddest part, when people just sit there and they twiddle their thumbs, just being like, someone will recognize me. The video will go viral. Like, yes, constantly produce great work, but what else can you do to push your brand out there?
Yeah, I think for me, this takeaway right now is just looking at what's been done and how do I break that down into even more deliverable content, whether it's the courses,
But yeah, this is your freebie that people get. What is the next step? Where do you take your customers from this go? The podcast is for free. So much value.
Yeah.
Like, if someone really wants to learn from you about something specific, what can you give them next? And that's not free anymore. Because you've already done the free part.
Yeah.
My YouTube is all free.
Yeah.
And then I've got my one course.
You pull them in and then now they want more.
Yeah, because they want more, of course. Because, like,
you're Sorelle. Of course they want.
No, but I'm producing. I'm helping them with a problem that they have.
Yeah.
And it's not expensive.
But it's over the course of enough people that it adds up and that you can live full time off of it.
Yeah.
How else? I know we talked about meditating before, but how else do you keep like your mental check? Is there anything? Do you do like gratitude? Are there certain people that you talk to that kind of keep you in check? How do you keep? I think that mental health is so important. In the world, there's so much about like go out and gym and lift weights and do yoga and like important physical health important. But I think what's even more important is the actual mental. Yeah. So what helps you stay mentally on point?
Yeah. So I was talking to Amar the other day from Yes Theory.
Yes Theory, yep.
He's such a legend. And I was like, oh man, like he was like therapist. And I was like, I don't want a therapist. That means I'm like one of those people. And he was like, what? The ones that need a personal trainer for your brain. I was like, oh snap. Because we all have, we want to be healthy on the outside, but what about the inside? So like a therapist is something that I'm going to look into. I've kind of trialed it before, but I don't know, just someone to like stop you from the cycle as well, because some of us get stuck in that cycle and it doesn't break. So you need someone to come in with a different opinion and say, that's not correct what you're telling yourself. You should stop that. It's like, oh, I didn't even realize. So that's one tiny thing that I'm looking into. But what I've done, and we talk about like, yoga or lifting weights, that is definitely something that's going to help your mental space though.
Yeah, I agree. I shouldn't say I didn't want to knock it because I literally went for a run earlier and I was thinking about how this is mentally just in my head.
Yeah.
I don't mean to knock it. No, definitely don't want to knock it.
But I know what you're saying. Most people are like all about the physical, but what about the internal? So, but like exercise, 100%. Wake up in the morning, and I just started doing like gratitude mornings with my boyfriend. Just like, what are you excited for today, or what are you grateful for right now? And that's been really cute and very helpful. Then I write in a journal every day. and I try to catch out any bad habits that I write. Gratitude goes in there if I'm really feeling low, but not like, I'm grateful for the trees.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for my mom.
Very specific.
And if I'm really in a rut, I will spend sometimes like 200 points of just gratitude until that switch happens.
Wow.
Because I'm not gonna, like, there are days where I want to be crappy and feel like crap, and I'll let myself. But if I want to get something done and I want to snap out of that rut, I will write until I feel like something's shifted in me.
Yeah.
And I realize how freaking grateful I actually am. So that's amazing. Just like for having food, man, that's a huge thing. Being able to breathe,
having a house,
having a
like a roof
shower,
over your head. Yeah, shower.
Poop. Yeah, it's the best. And then I'll have another few things I've had to implement from April 1st when I quit social media because my brain was not doing very well. Mm-hmm. So I'm back into having cold showers as well. After I have my normal shower, I'll just switch it to cold for about 30 seconds, and that sucks.
That's a game. It sucks, but it's a game changer.
Oh,
I do the same thing. I completely change to the cold, and I'm like, my body shifts.
My brain, there's something that happens in my brain, and I'm like, whoa, and it shocks my brain into function. Yeah. And I was like, oh, cool. And then like eating healthy, straight up, you have to. No alcohol, eating healthy.
Alcohol completely.
Well, I used to.
In doses?
I used to have like a couple of glasses of red wine here and there. And then I saw my friend Pixie on the weekend, and she's such a legend. And she did Rhythmia in El Salvador, which is ayahuasca retreats. Mm. And she said that all her cells felt alive. And she was talking to one of the facilitators. And they were saying that with like this lifetime, we're meant to wake all our cells up, and alcohol actually puts them to sleep, like physically, literally puts your cells to sleep. And I was like, I don't actually want that. So I've kind of cut out alcohol. I don't know if it'll last, but I used to think 1 or 2 glasses was okay, but I still think it was affecting my mental health a little bit. So right now I'm just doing like all these tiny steps. They come together to help your mental health. Yeah. And sure, maybe I'm missing out on a glass of wine, but if it means I'm having a great rest of the time and I'm smiling and laughing and having a great conversation, so what? I'll miss out on a glass of poison. Yeah. Like, I'll get stoned instead if I need to.
That's fine.
Like, who cares? Yeah. I mean, and alcohol is not exactly like a thing that is, like it's there to numb us. And you have to also realize that everything is working against us. We have social media, which is trying to numb our brain and make us feel like crap. You have alcohol that shouldn't be legal, but it is legal because it makes so much money for the government. We have casinos that shouldn't be legal, but they are, which is ridiculous. You have all these things that should not be allowed. Cigarettes. Like, why is a freaking cigarette legal? What? Are you kidding me? Yeah. And then they outlaw things that like psychedelics, which are actually not addictive in the slightest, and they teach you lessons. Mm-hmm. Then you start seeing the gaps in the system, and that they don't want you to feel good about yourself. So you have to push against that. And if that means being that weirdo that's like, I don't drink, or I want to just eat like really healthy, or I'd prefer to go to the gym than sit on the couch and, I don't know, talk about gossip. You have to push yourself, and you're going to be the outlaw, sure. But if that means that you feel better, like, and that's it. You're fighting against the system, the way that we've all been brought up, like what is normal, what's not. If it was normal for all of us to eat healthy and not drink alcohol, then like it would make the society so much better.
Be such a different world.
But it's not normal for us to feel this way. So you feel like an outcast, but in your heart of hearts, you know that treating your body well and your mind well and not being plugged in all the time, that is the right thing for you to do. Yeah. But it's just so hard when everything is telling you around you that it's not, and you are trying to hear your own voice, but it's so hard to hear it.
And that's why it's important to hear people like yourself speak about it so loudly, because it's like, it's people like yourself who are doing things and actually making shit happen for yourself. These are the people want to hear from, because it's like, you're fucking doing it. You're living full time, doing what you love. Yeah. Yes, it's been a lot of hard work, but there's so much lessons and gems and things that you're able to proudly shout out and be confident about, because you are who you are. Yeah. I am who I am. I'm just authentically myself, unapologetically. If you love me, awesome. If you don't like my content, keep it moving. There's so much in this world. I just know there's enough room for everyone to win, and there's enough room for people to get through that tough time of I've been there too, where it's just you don't think you don't, I don't know, there's moments when it's dark and you don't know where to go, and you got to keep going. It sounds so simple, but it's like there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Always.
It's so cliche, but it's so true. Like you have to just keep going. You have to believe in yourself. All the cliches, it's true. And
it is
you figure it out, and you literally figure it out.
Yeah.
What do you think, summarizing everything we've talked about today, what do you think Sorelle's purpose is?
To be Sorelle. Just straight up. I think every single one of us we are meant to be ourselves. And if we shine in our greatest light and the authentic self, that is teaching the greatest lessons for uplifting humanity. So I heard Oprah say once that a mentor of hers she was talking to a mentor of hers, and she said, my greatest legacy is my TV show that I'm putting out, my network. It's the biggest thing I've ever done. Nothing's bigger than my network that I'm creating. And the mentor just turned to her and she said, you don't know if you said one tiny thing that's like really hit someone in the audience and was like, shit, I have to make a giant change. Went back to the community and changed everything within their house, their family. It spread far and wide, the ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's these tiny moments that are going to help humanity advance to at their greatest. So like you don't have to do anything huge or special, or like nothing is necessary as long as you come from a place of love. So me is just, I have to be me, and I have to stay true to that, even if it is, going against the grain of not being a girly girl and talking about fashion and makeup. That was a huge thing for me. And now there's finally people coming and talking about different things as a female on YouTube, but that's not a big space. But I hope through inspiration that girls are like, oh, I can do other things as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to be girly or into fashion and makeup. I can do anything I want, or I can do fashion and makeup as well. And I can be a super crazy successful businesswoman, and I can travel the world full time. My relationship can be really happy and really great and fulfilling. And like being a role model for that. So, and even if you don't have thousands of millions of followers or whatever, if you're a great role model to your like bro or your neighbor, that could change their life massively, and it's the ripple effect.
Yeah, I love it. What's before we get into the closing questions, this is when I reverse the role. I allow the guests to ask me any one question. It could be about something we talked about today, something you don't know about me. 2 rules. 1, it can't be a question that I asked you already today.
Okay. And
2, it can't directly be about the podcast.
Dang. Can I just ask who's your like ultimate person you want to have on the podcast? Because I don't know.
We can let that one slide. He's actually hanging on that little frame right there. I don't know if you can see who it is.
No, I can't.
No?
Oh, Lewis Howe, my friend.
Lewis Howe, he's your friend?
Yeah.
So I didn't get into that, but he was, when I told you before about graduating college, didn't know what I wanted to do. I had really just gotten into his podcast and listened to his podcast, and it was so inspiring to just hear Scooter Braun, Gary Vee, like some super amazing people. But I was just like, okay, I'm graduating college. I'm hearing all these amazing, successful stories. Where's the young bucks? Where's
I know exactly.
Where's the people that are in their 20s right now, or their late teens, or are just in the process of making shit happen right now? You know, because it's great to hear Scooter's story, Gary Vee's story, but that was so long ago. You know that it's not what's going on in the world today.
Yeah.
And so, boom, I was like, wait a second, okay. That's when I could start this podcast. I'll be the one to create the one that I'm looking for. I'll start interviewing these young bucks, these young passionate people.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like I don't think I would have ever gotten into podcasting if it wasn't for him. He was the first real podcast that I started listening to a lot. So I'd probably put him as the number one, just because I really just want to be able to shake his hand and just say thank you. You know, like I know one day I'm going to meet him, run into him in LA. I will have him on this podcast.
Yes. Do you know by when?
By the end of this year.
December 2019, Lewis House. You heard it here first, kids. Well, maybe not. Maybe you've already said it.
That will happen. I believe it. I see it. I visualize it. I would love to have him. And it's just a true inspiration and a great energy person. Just everything he puts out is just, I have nothing but respect for him.
Good.
So, yeah, that's number one. Lewis House.
Boom.
School greatness. Closing questions. We're right on time. Perfect. 2:15. We'll have you right out of here. Good. Closing questions. 1, where can people find you on social media if they have no idea where to find you?
Everywhere, Sorelle Amore.
Beautiful.
Everything. Yeah.
Website, you're on Instagram,
Everything.
Twitter.
Just type in my name.
Just type in her name on Google. You're going to find
YouTube.
it. Make sure that if you're listening, you go to her Instagram and drop, even though she's off social media, go drop a bunch of bearded man emojis on her IG. She'll know that you came from the Bearded Man.
And when I check him back after my social media,
I'll
be like, yeah!
Where are all these beards coming from? What the hell's going on?
Good.
Before I ask you the last question, just want to say thank you for taking the time to come in, share your story. Shout out to my man, Zach Conovar of Yes Theory for making this podcast at all possible. I appreciate you, brother, but I appreciate you taking the time. I know you are an extremely busy person. You're making all this content. You're connecting with people. You are doing millions and millions and millions of things, and I gratefully appreciate you coming in today and sharing the story. So thank you very much. And I think that this is something that people are going to take a lot from, whether they're inspired, whether they learn something. There's just so many little nuggets and gems throughout this podcast. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do this when you didn't have to.
Thank you. And thanks for being a voice for so many people as well in the younger generations to have someone to turn to. This is a really great story, great angle.
Thank you. Last question for you. For somebody that's listening, hasn't found that passion, hasn't found that purpose out just yet, what's the best 2 to 3 pieces of advice you'd give to them?
Test a lot of things because you don't know, and it will shift. So that's number 2. Once you've tested and you're like, just follow that little instinct.
I like that.
If there's something that's slightly pulling you, and you don't have a clue why, like when I got told that I was meant to do photography, there was no reason, 0 reason in my life for that to have been a thing. But I was like, okay, there was this weird nudge. I was like, I'm gonna follow that. So follow the weird nudges. If they pull you, that's why I've tried so many different things in my life, and I just stuck with the things that resonated with me. Know that it's going to shift. If it changes and morphs, that's okay, because there's a greater purpose for you to shift things around. And don't have a lot of pressure on yourself, because dang, like, purpose, I mean, it's hyped up a lot that we have to have a purpose, but sometimes we don't have to have one, and it's great to not have it, because those are the moments where you figure out who you are as well behind a purpose. Like, who is the flesh and bone, just a simple version of you, before you go out and try to save the world or with a purpose. Sometimes you have to focus on just like the simple things of what it is to be a human. So less pressure, because less pressure also means you create better and you human better without pressure. So enjoy life as it is, and whatever stage you are right now. I still haven't even figured out my purpose.
Wow.
So it's a work. I feel like it's a work in progress all my life. And I'm okay with that.
I think it's always a work in progress for all of us. Always, because we're always changing. There's always new things coming in and out of our life. And that's okay. And that's fine. I agree. Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah. Sorelle Amore.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good one, guys. We'll catch you next time. See ya.